guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you a great leftover recipe for my cranberry sauce muffins. Without fail, this recipe gets made every single year in my house after Thanksgiving because cranberry sauce is one of those things that is just, there's always some leftovers of it. So every year I make these muffins and then I go on and make a couple different recipes with it, but without fail, these are definite on the must make list for the next day or a couple days after or whatnot. Let me take you over the ingredients so we can get started. You'll need all-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, baking soda, cinnamon, some homemade cranberry sauce. I'll talk about this in a minute. You'll need some eggs, granulated sugar, unsalted butter, softened at room temperature, whole milk, vanilla extract, and an orange. That is it. Now the first thing you want to do is get your oven preheated to 400. What I also have here is my non-stick muffin pan, except I did not line it with liners. I ended up spraying it liberally with some non-stick spray. The reason is because I always find cranberry sauce to stick to my muffin liners, and that makes me crazy. I don't want to waste anything that gets stuck on the liner, so this works much better in my opinion. Okay. My cranberry sauce, this is my cherry cranberry sauce I made for you in a previous episode. If you've seen that, that's what I'm using. But any cranberry sauce will do. Any homemade cranberry sauce is really best. I've never made them with the jelly sauce, the cranberry jelly. So I don't know if that will work or not. Just make sure your cranberry sauce doesn't have like onions and jalapenos or anything like that in it, because I have had those kinds of cranberry sauces and they're delicious, but they just wouldn't go really well in this recipe. Okay, now in this bowl, I've got some, I'm going to add, I should say, my unsalted butter that's really nice and soft. I had this sitting on the stove while the oven preheated, so it really is nice and soft. My sugar, and I'm just going to kind of combine this together with my spatula as best as you can. You don't have to go crazy. It'll all end up working out at the end. Gonna add my eggs, a good splash of vanilla. These muffins are nothing crazy. They don't require any sort of crazy amount of ingredients, but they are divine. You wait until you make them. And just a little grating of orange zest. This is optional, but I think it just makes things that much more festive, especially when there's cranberries in them and cinnamon. It just works together super, super well. Oh, I love the smell of it. As soon as you can smell the vanilla and the orange, you know good things are gonna happen around here. All right, that's plenty. I'm just going to switch to a whisk and combine this all together. That looks great. I'm just going to add just a little bit of milk. I'm not going to add all of it at this point. I'm just going to switch to my dry ingredients, mix them together because you want to make sure that baking powder, salt, and cinnamon is mixed in there well, but you don't have to go crazy because you are going to continue to mix this all with your wet ingredients. Get all that in there. I'm just gonna grab, oops, my spatula just to make sure I really get it all out of there. Start mixing this around with your spatula. I'm now gonna add in my cranberry cherry sauce. And then I'm just gonna see from here how much more milk I'm gonna need. Because sometimes you'll need a 1/4 cup, sometimes you'll need a 1/3, sometimes you'll need a 1/2 cup. So really, start with a 1/4 cup, and if you think you'll need more, like I know I'm going to need a little bit more than that, so I'm going to go ahead and put another splash in. That looks perfect, and I love, you can see the cranberries and the dried cherries, and it's just delicious. I also have some grated apples in there, so needless to say, this muffin is going to be the bomb. So I'm just going to use my handy dandy ice cream scoop and just divide my batter evenly in my little muffin pan. Perfect. Oops, except I got a little something here. Okay. These are going to go into the oven preheated at 400 for a good 15 to 18 minutes or so, or until you insert a toothpick in the center. If it comes out clean with no wet batter on it, chances are it's done. Well, they're done. And then we're going to let them cool before we go ahead and dig in. My muffins were in the oven for about 16 minutes, and I've let them cool pretty much completely, and they are just as they always are every single year. They're perfect. They're smelling incredible. They pop out super, super easy, as you can see. And then you break open. It's like, ooh, bits and pieces of cranberries in there. You can smell the vanilla. You can smell the cinnamon, the orange. So good. that aren't overly sweet, which I like. I also love, hold on. There we go. I also love that we use really basic ingredients. No sour cream, nothing fancy. Whole milk, flour, some leavening agents, a little bit of spice in there, and that's it. They're easy and delicious. You can use any cranberry sauce that you want with this. I've never done it with cranberry jelly, so you can try if you want to, but these are delicious, they're easy, they're perfect to make next day if you have got people coming, if you have people staying over for the holiday. Pop a batch of these in the oven. They take no time at all to put together and to bake, and you have homemade muffins in no time. They're not overly sweet like I mentioned. It's got a great balance of flavors, and I think you're really going to enjoy them. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the recipe. I'll see you. Okay. Bye.